Hi, it's that fantasy chick back again for the live stream. It's Monday, and I have talked about a couple of things. Of course, The Mandalorian and The Flash. But this past weekend, I went to go see Shazam: Fury of the Gods, and it was okay. It was okay. Um, it was, I don't know. I guess maybe because I don't know, maybe because of where it was focused, you know, focus was not entirely on Shazam. But I guess, there was an underlying thing that was completely, totally Shazam's arc. So that was cool. But there are some other storylines going on that, and I guess they have to have that going on. They have so many people in this movie. You have to focus on other people in the movie. But I don't know. It felt, I don't know how to describe how I felt watching this movie. Um, like I said, it was okay. It was enjoyable. I didn't think it was as good as the first because I really liked the first. This one had its moments, um, but I feel like for Shazam, especially because the kids in this movie has grown up, so they had to have Billy Batson grow up too. He's about to be 18, and he's still acting like a kid. So it's strange. It would have been. I think they should have recast. I think they should have recast Billy and kept Billy at a very young age because I mean, of course, in the cartoon, in the comics, you can do this. You can keep somebody young forever, but but every time I've seen Billy Batson, he's always been really young, and it makes sense for Captain Marvel to act as young as he acts because Billy Batson is super young. So it is not trash. It was not trash. The directors always get their money up front. Everybody's paid up front. The only people who gets paid in the end is people who have back end deals, like sometimes actors or even directors, and most definitely producers get things they call points, which is like percentages of the film. And depending on what they get, whether they get a percentage of the net or the gross after the film comes out, and it's paid out to paid out to the distribution companies, paid out to the studios, paid out to the producers, then it's sort of a trickle down effect, and then those people get that extra money. But everybody's always paid up front. You don't sit and wait for a movie to come out to get paid. That's Yeah, that's not good business. Yeah, they call them, like, it's I think they call them points, but it's basically like percentages. And like I said, it's whether you get a percentage of the net. Like, if some you have to know the difference between net and gross. Gross is like you're getting your money up front, and you should always get a percentage of the gross because a percentage of the net is the percentage of after everything has been paid out, what is left, and there's usually nothing left. So when you get a percentage of net, you're getting a percentage of air. So you should always get a percentage of gross. And then you'll get paid out. You'll be in the trickle down with everyone else getting paid out first. So, but we do this. Billy is 18. He was 17, but he was about to be 18. He was like, that was his main concern, was that he was getting ready to turn 18. And I guess maybe, I don't know. I guess you could say teenagers are still as immature as Captain Marvel was acting. But it just feels like someone that close to adulthood wouldn't still be acting that youngish as Captain Marvel. But I could be judging it harshly. But outside of that, I did enjoy the film. I enjoyed the bad guys. It was kind of funny seeing Helen Mirren in an action movie, and of course, Lucy Liu. So these were interesting things. They were interesting additions to the films. So, but yeah, that's how I feel about it. He's done with superheroes. He's going back to the horror. I can't remember the director's name either. It's on the tip of my tongue, and I cannot remember, because I remember it flashed. It's like flashing in front of my eyes. It flashed on the screen, a such and such film, but I can't remember. Yes, there are post-credit scenes. And then there's a post-credit, like after all the credits are done, there's going to be a scene. So, I was the only. Well, I was in a pretty much basically empty theater, which is how I like to go see movies. I like to see movies in empty theaters, which means I have to do the horrible thing of getting up early and going to see the first shows on off days, on not Fridays or Saturdays, but like I went on a Sunday, went to one of the first shows. I went to a 11:20 show on a Sunday to a theater that's off in the cut, to try to so I can get an empty theater, and the theater was empty, but I was the only one who stayed for that post-credit scene. Everybody else was gone. I think some people left immediately. Some people stayed for the original, like, mid-credit scene, but then the post-credit scene, I was the only one there. I was the only one left. I knew it was a bird. Saw it in my name, but for some reason I wanted to call him Jonathan Sandberg. I was in there early. I had to get up early, and I had to because my neighborhood theater is being remodeled. So I have to go all the way downtown in order. I mean, it's not all the way downtown, but still, I'm used to going to my neighborhood theater, which is close. But now I had to get up early and get on the bus, actually get on a bus instead of walking to the theater, get on a bus and go to the theater. So that was a thing, especially because we have this thing where certain buses don't run on the weekends. And the last time I had went to this theater, I had went on a Monday because I guess we had the day off. So I went on a Monday, and that bus dropped me off right in front of the theater. Well, that bus don't run on the weekends. So they had me on these alternate bus unit routes. And when the second bus dropped me off, I was in the middle. It wasn't in the middle of nowhere, but it was like I don't see my other bus stop. I can't find my other bus stop. I don't know how I'm going to get to the next bus. I ended up walking from the second bus to the bus theater because I was like, I just can't find this bus stop. The bus has already passed and I can't find it, so I might as well just walk to the theater by that point. So craziness. Yeah, but this was made before Gunn reset everything. This was shot before. So this was already made and in the can before he reset anything. So they wouldn't be taking any of that into account. Although Peter Safran is noted as one of the producers, but also Walter Hamada's name is still on it. And we all know he's been gone. So so yeah, this has been done probably for a while now. This has been done for a while now. I don't know. It depends on how far he's going with this Elseworlds. If he's dedicated to keeping a separate Elseworlds, then it's possible he can bring back a Shazam. But he's talking about he was doing the whole world reset, and if he's resetting the world, I think that's going to include Shazam. So, yeah. So, and truthfully, as I was sitting there watching the scene, I was thinking, is this scene still relevant? Because of everything that's happened since. Don't know if we're going to be getting a Shazam 3. So, don't know if this scene is still relevant. It's definitely a post-credit scene that would lead into a Shazam 3. If there is a Shazam 3, but yeah. Yeah, so David Sandberg, I do know that name. I can't remember the movies he's done off the top of my head, but I do know that name. But yeah, so Shazam Fury of the Gods. Like I said, it was okay. It was okay. But I still enjoyed myself going to the movie theater. Once I was no longer lost. Okay, next. The Flash, the TV Flash. So apparently, all of my expectations of this season has just been blown. I was like, this is a 13 episode season. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a tight 13 episodes. You're going to have one villain and one storyline, and then we're going to be out. Nope. They've had one big bad already that they've already wrapped up. And this past episode was a filler episode. I didn't think they would have room for filler episodes in 13 episodes, but apparently they do have room for filler episodes. So last week was a filler episode. Barry and Iris wasn't even there. They were off doing, I don't know what they were doing. They were off doing their own little thing. And it was down today. So the Flash wasn't even on the Flash. There was no Flash on the Flash. So so it basically, the main storyline was Cecile, who is dangerously close to Mary Sue territory. She's not there yet, but she's dangerously close, because they keep giving her, every year her power gets stronger and stronger. Now she's the strongest person on Team Flash. I'm like, you gonna make her stronger than the Flash on the Flash? Okay. And so so the A storyline was her dealing with one of her clients and trying to wrap it up so in enough time so she can get go the weekend, because it was the daughter's birthday weekend, and the daughter and Joe is in the country, so she needed to make a train so she could be there in the morning to make the girl birthday breakfast and blah 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 blah. And so they had the thing where where most career women feel, where she felt like she was failing in her career because she had this client who she was failing with, and then she was failing as a mother. So she was like, I'm all around failure. I'm failing as a mother. I'm failing in my career, blah, 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 blah. So she had to deal with that. And because of that, her powers were off. And, she had to get herself together and figure out what was going on with that client. And the other storyline was them trying to figure out what was Keone's power. Because because Frost's boyfriend, like I said, he was still alive. He was still alive. I was like, when you don't see him die on screen, they were still alive. So he was still alive. And but he was beat horribly. So they had him in the little hospital ward of the lab, and it didn't look good. So she kissed him, some frost came out of her mouth, and boom, he woke up. So he's like, you have powers. You were the first one to know that Iris was pregnant. I was, there was all sorts of things wrong with my internal organs, but you kissed me and I woke up. It was a miracle. You have some sort of power. And of course, he really wanted her power to be, a Frost type power, because he's Frost's boyfriend and he probably still had, he unhealthy connection. But in the end, she couldn't make anything happen. Although at one point, when they were chill and they let up on her, she made it snow on the inside. But they figured out, once they analyzed her DNA strand, that she wasn't a metahuman like Frost, but she also wasn't human like Caitlin. So we don't even know what this girl is. She's not human. She's not metahuman. She is something else completely different. But show's going to find room for a filler episode. I guess so. I just feel like if all you have is 13 episodes, this is your chance to do a storyline that's just a tight 13 episode storyline. Something like we would see on cable. Something like we would see on streaming. Yeah, something like we would see on streaming between those shows that do 10 to 13 episodes. This is your chance to do that. But they were like, no, we're going to go with the same formula we do, and we're just shrinking it down. So yeah. So in the end, Cecile was able to get her client, because her client, she was a metahuman who had the power of um, being lucky, if that's a power. She had incredible luck. But then all of a sudden, her luck just sort of changed and she just became incredibly unlucky, and she was framed for the attempted murder of her fiance. So they had to figure out what really happened. And they found out it was her future brother-in-law. He had gambling debts and he wanted to use her power, her lucky or unlucky power, to win the money that he needs to pay off his gambling debts. He took her hostage, and she used to work as a person a dealer at a casino. So he had her dealing for him. With her bad luck, of course, he just kept winning. And we also found out that he was the reason why she was having bad luck. So once they got over all of that, proved he did it, and then once she had her luck back, the fiance woke up out of his coma. Blah 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 blah. She was lucky again. Yay! And so yeah. And then Barry and Iris comes back at the end of the episode, and they have a baby shower for them. And Iris is pregnant, but Iris ain't even showing yet. I'm like, you're supposed to have baby showers when they're close to giving birth, you know? I guess because we see her kids from the future, they already know she's having a girl, so we don't have to worry about having a gender reveal. That's already been done. But yeah, I was like, what's up with this? I mean, she can't be more than 2 months pregnant, and they're having a baby shower for her. But whatever. If you like it, I love it. Yes. Well, I watch every week because, it's the countdown to the last episode of The Flash, the final season. The Flash is, if you watched my video on my top 5 favorite comic book shows, The Flash is in there. So, okay. On to the Grogu show. So, this is a Mandalorian. And so they pick up exactly where they leave off. And I thought that they were going to be dealing with this monster, but the monster doesn't come out the deep. They leave you in tension. They leave some tension with Mandalorian just laid out unconscious and her staring at the water, like waiting for something to come up. And then finally he wakes up, and then he gets, a sample of water so he can have proof that he bathed in the living waters. So he won't be in apostate anymore. I can't believe that was an actual journey that they went on. But so on their way back to her planet, so she can drop him off at his ship. A bunch of TIE fighters come at her, and so he was like, drop me off at my ship. I can help you get rid of them. So as she's going, she swing around so he can drop out of the sky and drop onto his ship. Little Grogu know what's up. He's in his little ball. He puts over the top like, I ain't with this. He checked out till it was over. And they went and they fought the TIE fighters. And then they saw that the Imperial um, whatever, those people bombed her home. So now she has no place to go to. And she was ready to light them up. But the Mandalorian saw on his little map there was way too many of them. He was like, "We're gonna have to leave. It's too many to fight. We need to go. I'm gonna give you jump coordinates. We're gonna go to someplace safe, go back." So they basically went back to the place he needed to go to prove that he was no longer an apostate, because that's at the top of his priorities right now, to no longer be an apostate. Um, so he goes back, and they're like, first he's met with some, uh, um, you know, with some conflict. People are like, "You're an apostate. You don't belong here." And he was like, "I bathed in the living waters, and the planet is not poison," and all this other stuff. And so they let him go to the woman in charge, and when she pours out the living waters, it does this little blue thing, and she's like, "It's true. These are the living waters. He bathed in it, and he's no longer an apostate." And um, and Mandalorian had told Bo-Katan, when we go here, it'd be best if you keep your helmet on while we're here. So she's had her helmet on since um, she's she's basically had her helmet on since she's dropped into the waters to go get him. She hasn't taken it off. So they told her that, by creed, you're no longer an apostate either. So you can stay. You can stay with us since you bathed in the living waters and you haven't taken off your helmet since you bathed in it. So that's where that was the Mandalorian. That's where we leave them. And then there was this whole other side story about this poor little man that we saw, I guess, in season one, who was like the scientist who does cloning and blah, blah, blah. And we see him get set up by this chick from Moff Gideon's ship. Um, she set that poor man up. And the New Republic, they didn't even give him a chance to defend himself. They just caught him, took her word for everything. And it's like, I mean, all of these people are rehabilitated Imperial workers. I would get everybody's story. I wouldn't just take one person's story for granted, you know, and be like, "Oh, she's telling the truth." I would hear everybody's story before I go off and say he needs to be rehabilitated with some little machine. And then they go and leave the girl in the room with him by himself, because they're like, as long as the machine is on low levels, it's fine. He's fine. But of course, she stays behind and turns that shit up and fries his brain. Now, are they going to realize that she did that to him? Probably not, because, that's how they got took over by the Imperial people in the first place, because they don't know how to see signs and evidence of shadiness. His obsession with getting baptized. He was obsessed. He was obsessed. For somebody who willingly took off his helmet, it wasn't like there was a gun to his head. He willingly took his helmet off for Grogu. And he admitted it, but he felt like he needed to make atonement for it. Uh, so you was happy that she was forced to stay with him. So I guess you like Bo-Katan. She's cool. She adds and what do you call it? Sort of an not unexpected, but one can I think of the word, but just the unexpected element to the trio. To well, I guess if you include the R5 unit, who is being as skittish as C3PO. Yeah, this season is slow. I have been waiting for something to happen because, like I figured the journey to him, you know, to him going to the living waters was going to be longer, and then he was going to have all these side quests and all these other things, and that was the journey was going to take, if not the whole season, at least half the season, and there would be all these side quests and all these other things. But it's already over, and it's like I'm still waiting for a main conflict to happen, you know. And I guess that's what that side story was. um the side story was I guess introducing a main conflict, but I don't know how the Mandalorian is going to fold back into it. Like, how is this going to affect him, and how is he going to eventually become involved in this? Because I mean, the show is called The Mandalorian, not the New Republic, so it has to come back to him at some point. Um, so I don't know. I guess it's they're just yeah. I don't trust people who give you what you want. The moment she gave him those crackers like that, that shows you he's naive because I'm like, the moment somebody, like, you say, I want this, I like this, and that person literally drops it on your doorstep, I'm highly suspect of that. And it's like, what do you want from me? Why are you being so nice to me? I don't know you. There's no reason for you to just be this nice to me and this attached to me so soon, so strongly, so soon. But he was naive and lonely, I guess. Um, it just upset me. It upset me because of I knew you couldn't trust her. I knew she wasn't trustworthy. I knew she was going to get him caught. I had no idea it was going to be this soon. But I knew she was going to get him caught. I thought she was going to wait till he had been doing his research and get him caught that way. But yeah, I did not like the fact that they left him alone to have his brain fried. I did not like that. I did not like that they did not allow him to have his say his piece. This is the New Republic, not the Empire. You should allow people to defend themselves. Oh, I knew it wasn't a love story. She was suspect from the beginning because she was. because there was no reason for her to be so attached to him so soon. I didn't feel a genuine connection between them. It felt like she was trying too hard, and he fell for it. She was trying way too hard and he fell for it. She gave him the little cookies. She started talking and buzzing in his ear, and she, showed him the sights, and you know, they was having ice cream or whatnot together. I'm like, this is too much. Too much. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She was majorly sus. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know why she did that. If that was just a punishment for him, you know, rehabilitating for leaving the empire. I don't know why she did that to him and what her agenda is and what else she's going to, because you know that she's got an agenda, and she's going to I guess she's probably going to try to infiltrate the New Republic, and this may be her plan, setting him up, and maybe part of her plan to infiltrate the New Republic, because now they trust her, and now she probably can move up in the ranks and get more influence and be able to get in there and do some major damage. So this could be part of a much bigger plan. But again, how does it go back to the Mandalorian? How does it lead back to the Mandalorian? What is he going to do to this chick? And how is he going to get involved? Because he gets involved with little separate pockets of, things. He doesn't, this is in Coruscant. This is in Coruscant. This is like this is where everything pretty much goes down. Major political hub of the universe, of the galaxy, whatever they call it. And I just don't see him getting it. I don't see him getting involved in that. So I'm just trying to figure out how it will lead back to Mandalorian. So we'll see. I thought about that too. But the thing about it is, I thought about that too, but the thing about it is the New Republic wasn't trying to use his knowledge. But I did think about that there was something that he knew that they did not want the New Republic to know. Yeah. The storylines feel so far apart. I'm not sure how they will tie in. I guess it's going to be like one of those things. I don't know if you ever seen this anime. Um, oh my goodness, Full Metal Alchemy Brotherhood or whatever. The Full Metal Alchemist. I think it's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. But anyway, it was Full Metal Alchemist. And when I started, a friend of mine got me to start watching that, and it was already over, so I was binge watching it. And the first few episodes, it was cool, And the episodes feel like standalone episodes, and they feel like, they were off in their little thing. But then after you got so many episodes in, you realize every single episode was connected to this larger purpose that they had going on in the show. So every little single thing what connected back to the major plot line of the show, even things that felt like filler. So, so I guess maybe they're going to do something like that, where even though this feels like off in a side quest, maybe as we get further and further into the show, it's going to tie into the major plot line, whatever that's going to be. It's good. It's good. I liked it. Yes. Fingers crossed. So we shall see what happens next. Well, this week. We shall see what happens Wednesday. But that is all. I shall be back on Wednesday, and then I will talk about, of course, Superman and Lois and Gotham Knights, which like I said, I'm surprisingly invested in. Didn't think I was going to be, but surprisingly got invested in Gotham Knights. We'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, so Wednesday is Superman and Lois and Gotham Knights. And of course, Friday is another Smallville video. So wait for that and check that out. And yeah, so thanks for watching.